Don't do this. That's right, don't do what we did. All we wanted was to do this from the top of Flatside Wilderness Pinnacle. This is the easternmost point of the Flatside Wilderness area, which is 250,000 acres of absolutely pristine wilderness. No cars, no motorbikes, not a single luxury. Here's how it really started. If you leave Crows, Arkansas, that's Greater Crows, and you come to the 5 and 9 intersection, we're going to turn north and go north up Highway 9 to the entrance into the National Forest. Parts of this video will be significantly sped up. We really didn't drive this fast, but we want to be considerate of your time. But on the same hand, it is just, as you can tell, stinking gorgeous. This is Highway 9. Highway 9 is on the eastern side of Hot Springs Village. Highway 7 is on the western side of Hot Springs Village. They both go north and south and bisect each end or each portion of the Ouachita National Forest. 1.7 million acres and an additional 250,000 acres of just pristine wilderness. Now remember, this is all managed for the use of all of us. It's public land for every citizen of the United States. On the left-hand side, you see some cutover areas. We're not at the forest yet. Remember, this is actually, that in particular, is Green Bay Packaging, which you and I knew 100 years ago as Weyerhaeuser. And coming up on the right, the top of the hill here very quickly, there's the Weyerhaeuser Center, where they actually manage operations for this entire area. Beautiful August day. This was August the 2nd, and I think the temperature was 83, 85, low humidity, gorgeous. Now, when we started the day, as you can see, partly cloudy, kind of mixed, beautiful, perfect summer day. Later in the day, it got cloudy, and I was kind of concerned about that. I told Diana, I said, well, there goes the drone shots, and there goes the selfies and whatever. It's going to be cloudy. And she said, no. Remember, sometimes we get our best drone work when it's cloudy and you can actually see the details on the trees and the mountains below, and it's absolutely magnificent. Now, this is also Highway 9. We just passed a major road there, but Highway 9 is also the quickest way to get into West Little Rock. This is the way that we go to Costco on a regular basis. By turning left onto Highway 9, right there at Crows, and just driving up to Perrin, though you'll see Perrin in just a moment, we pull over in the parking lot there at the school, or what was the school, and turn right, you'll actually go back up through the backside into extreme West Little Rock, and a beautiful, beautiful drive, the whole place. Here we are pulling into Perrin High School, Perrin Elementary, Perry Middle School, or what it used to be. It's a recovery station now. I think it's a drug rehab place. Beautiful, super cool little town. We pulled over here to get our Google directions lined out, because in just a minute we're going to be driving into the National Forest, where we will not, for the most part, have cell phone reception. So we're mapping out our plans. We're actually on our way to Crystal Mountain. Follow that, we're going to go over to the Flatside Wilderness area that you just saw a moment ago. But we're planning all that out, and then we're going to come out on the west side over on Highway 7 by Iron Springs. We're going to break this into two parts simply because it's a lot of material, and I don't want to overwhelm you. But these are some of the favorite back roads that Diane and I love to do. And by the way, we're riding in a 2008 Toyota FJ Cruiser that she and I recently bought for under $10,000 with 234,000 miles on it, and it's magnificent. On the road, it's good. It's a great daily driver. Off the road, oh my Lord. I pulled up to the parts store the other day to get some little thing, and the guy noted, he said, that Toyota FJ Cruiser? I said, yeah, he was pulling it up, and I said, yeah, that's what I'm looking for. He said, man, those things are built like tanks, and they go and go and go. I was at Cowboys the other day getting a haircut. I showed him the truck, and he said he had a friend that took one from the very tip of the oil fields in Alaska and drove one all the way down over the Panama Canal to the southern tip of Argentina, talking about a Toyota FJ Cruiser. At that exact moment, a buddy sitting in the chair said he had a buddy that had a FJ Cruiser that had 450,000 miles on it. Unbelievable. Don't want to distract you, but we're heading up Highway 9. We're about to get into the National Forest. Here is the church camp, the Baptist church camp. That's Camp Perrin on the right-hand side. Many Southern Baptist children go there on a regular basis and visit this area. Now, had we turned right back where we pulled over there at the Perrin School, that would have been the way to get back into West Little Rock. As it is, we're coming up to Williams Junction. That's a familiar area here. And there's a Brown's store and Williams store up here, which are also quite common road marks. Unfortunately, Williams store, or the original one where we're going to turn in just a minute, burned down, and we're going to turn onto the Lake Winona Road. Now, we're about to do another show about Lake Winona. This entire area is just absolutely fascinating. Look at the beautiful meadows on both sides. It is heavenly. And in the distance, not too far from here, you're looking right into the National Forest. Now, when we turn left onto Lake Winona Drive here in just a minute, you're going to see where the road goes and why it goes, but a lot of people don't understand the importance of Lake Winona. Lake Maumelle is the water supply for all of Little Rock. Roughly 400,000 people get their water from there. The water is piped nearly as high as Greenbrier. It's piped dozens and dozens of miles in all directions. What if something were to happen to Lake Maumelle? What if Lake Maumelle were contaminated, polluted, diseased? What if we couldn't do something with it? And by the way, right here is where we're turning left onto the Lake Winona Road. Well, Lake Winona, which is surrounded completely by national forest and a huge lake too, but Lake Winona is the auxiliary backup water supply for all of Little Rock and all of the area surrounding it. So if there were ever a major failure, the 21-foot tube that runs from Lake Winona into Little Rock, into the West Little Rock, kind of Highway 10 area, that feeds the Reservoir Lake at Reservoir Road in West Little Rock, not far from Markham and Rodney Parham and all that. There's a huge tube that goes from there that was built in the 40s and 50s as an auxiliary backup supply for Little Rock. So you'll see in just a minute, this is a protected area. I encourage you to go see the other Lake Winona show. Again, the spillway, the lake, the park. There's actually a park there run by the city of Little Rock that is in, I guess it's technically, is it Garland County? It's Perry County. It is. Beautiful. Now, the road's paved here. This is great and wonderful and fine. But remember, the name of this episode is Don't Do This. You're going to see why we're telling you not to do this. Lake Winona, actually, if you pull to the left here, that would be Buffalo Road. We're going to stay to the right here in just a second. But first, Diane and I had to stop and check the map for just a moment to confirm that we were going the right direction. Beautiful area out here, and this is not far from the north side of the village at all. You'll see in the other video, it's maybe a 20-minute drive from the Cortez Gate, if you could get there directly, but you'll see what I mean. It's very, very close. Once again, beautiful area, gorgeous, paved road here. In just a minute, we're going to go back to gravel, and you'll understand what I'm talking about. from the corner of Highway 9 and Highway 5, we're probably, I don't know, 20, 25 minutes into the trip. It's not that bad at all. Obviously, some of this is sped up significantly. We are not driving 80 miles an hour, I promise. But it's a beautiful drive. Talk about a beautiful thing for a Sunday afternoon. This is your turn. And the road does turn, Lake Winona Road does turn into gravel, which it is most of the way. And that old boy just about ran me off the road. Both of us were too fast and too wide for that location. And no, I was under 30 at that time. If you'll remember, a couple of years ago, they did note that there was a tornado that had touched down near Lake Winona. And if you look on the left-hand side here, you're going to see a lot of forest damage and a lot of canopy opened up. See over there on the left-hand side? Yeah, the tornado had come through there. They came in and were able to salvage a lot of that timber. But man, it left a lot of scrub, left kind of a mess. And now, you turn right onto NF 179. Beautiful road. Now, again, tornado damage everywhere, but no, I am not speeding like this. But I wanted to speed it up so you could see where we were and see exactly what it looked like. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous day. Beautiful area. This is the splendor and beauty of Arkansas, the middle south woods of Arkansas at its finest. I guess this would be western Arkansas, not far from Little Rock, about 35 miles if I'm not mistaken. Now, Diane and I are using our GPS. Remember, we stopped in Perrin and we preloaded all this. We were so proud of ourselves that we were going to have all this loaded up and ready to go. Because when you get out in the National Forest, if the map can't find anything, it gives you poor directions or low-res instructions or low-res maps. And we had just put a new radio in the car and we wanted to use our Android Auto, so we were so proud of ourselves for having all this mapped in and ready to go. And it told us to turn onto Reform Road, and I need to show the graphic here. It's not a 90-degree curve. It's not a 120-degree curve. It's a 170-degree curve. You nearly literally turn back on yourself, but this was the way that Miss Google told us to go. Now, we're on a national forest road now, and these are graded and scraped and cleaned all the time, and it's no big deal. And in just a second, here we go, you can see it from up here. They have a little pad area. These are cleared over spots where they've actually taken some of the timber and make a little landing pad where they can drop all the timber and load it up on the trucks and carry it off. Remember, this is managed for all of our benefits. I'll talk more about that soon. The National Forest Service is charged with a mixed use. Oops. Don't do this. I'm encouraging you not to do what we're about to do here. If you turn left onto the old historical Reform Road, which actually is out by the churches and over by the spillway, and oh, it's just absolutely beautiful. Well, this first couple hundred feet kind of let Diana and I know that this may not be, just the Broadway, if you know what I mean. And then it got steep. Now, I want to explain, we're shooting this obviously with a very wide angle camera, and these ruts here are more than a foot deep now. Now, right about here, they're about 18 inches to 24 inches deep. So Dennis is going to pull to the left-hand side and right up on the ridge. Now, we've had this four-wheel probably 2 months, maybe not 3 yet. But you see the size of these gullies, and if you'll notice in a minute, watch the hood. You'll see the tip of the hood back and forth. This camera is just brilliant, but it's trying to levelize. It doesn't want to go bouncy or whatever, so it's trying to level out and make the road seem smooth, which it is not at all. But this is a pretty significant incline. The specs say that the little Yoda, as we call it, the Toyota, will tip over about 30 degrees. And we got to some 22 and 24 degree places that were making us uncomfortable. But you'll see that in just a moment. But once again, beautiful tree line, nobody here. Nobody here. And couldn't be a prettier area. I love exploring with my lovely wife. If you don't have a friend, mate, exploring partner, get you one. Really, get you one. It sounds to be complaining with my mouth full when I talk about past relationships that weren't up to this one, but oh my goodness, this woman. Everything I expect and more. And about now she said, hey, get on the left side. Or we thought, do we just go mudding? Now watch the hood. Yeah, we're getting ready to tippy there. Again, as you can see the hood of the car, the camera is trying to flatten it out for us. And I appreciate that. You don't want to get seasick watching this, but hey, we're okay. There's a mud puddle. Nothing big, right? Yeah. And this is, we're going up the hill and up the hill. And it's not terribly narrow, but, I don't want to scratch up the truck or whatever. And these little ruts are, watch the front of the car there. Yeah, these are more significant than it looks. You can hear the bumps in the engine strain. And we are prepared this time. Last time we didn't bring anything, but this time we have a come along. We don't have a winch, but we have a come along just in case. Yeah, so we just pray there's a tree nearby. Or maybe another car we can hook to, but that's going to be an impossibility. Once again, the ruts here are a lot deeper than they look. Beautiful area. Let's talk about managed forestry area for a second. And as you notice, the hood, and yeah, it's probably the better part of 3 feet. Look at this. Oh my goodness. Yeah. About here we were thinking things over. Yeah. Where do you back up? Where do you turn around? Maybe not. Maybe not. The little Yoda did fantastic. The Forestry Service is charged by the Department of the Interior for managing the forest land for the property of the common good, for the ability of the common good. And by the way, I think I put it in 4-wheel low right there just to make it crawl up the hills better. And we're getting to some stuff here right now. And these are, I think, 33-inch wheels on the Yoda, as opposed to, I think, my Mercedes is 22. I really thought I was going to scrape right here. Look at the hood bending back and forth. Oh my goodness. But if you'll notice on the right-hand side, it's very thinned trees. It's very nice. It looks like a forest you would see in a Hollywood movie or something, right? It's not brush waist high or whatever. That's because they've managed this with fire. So some of the fires the smog and smoke that we see here in the village, a lot of this has actually resulted in these forests that have daylight that reaches the ground, which is important for the animals and the deer and the rabbits and all the little wildlife, the mice and foxes. But it also makes for a forest that's not just so overgrown and so dense, it's just nearly useless. Now you notice we're coming up more of a hill and more of a hill. I wish I'd turned the camera to the right. Beautiful view out over the National Forest, about a 3-foot drop on the left-hand side that we're trying to navigate around. Now, we were told when we turned onto Reform Road that this was going to be about 3/4 of a mile. Not a big deal. We weren't really that concerned. This will be okay. We'll just, ride up the 3/4 of a mile and then we'll catch this other road and we'll be out of here. This won't be a big deal. Little did we know. Little did we know. And if you notice, we keep going up and up and up. Once again, historic area out here, the Reform area out by Buffalo. Pretty much we are, we're probably north of and northeast of Granada, maybe 20-25 miles. Surprisingly close to the village as the crow flies, that's for sure. Okay, about now we're counting it down. We're thinking, okay, we've driven a half mile, so we're going to be at that 3/4 mile. This shouldn't be a big deal anytime soon. Now remember, we actually set in a course to go to Crystal Mountain, which is 1,720 feet. And then we wanted to go back to, or kind of backtrack over to Pinnacle Mountain Flatside, which is where you saw the video earlier from. which is around, I want to say it's around 1580, something like that. So the one we were going to first, Crystal Mountain Vista, is probably about 200 or 150 feet higher. And if you notice on the right-hand side, it just drops off because we're getting on up here now. Now we're thinking, come on, how much further can this be, right? I repeat, maybe 83 degrees, just warm enough to be absolutely beautiful. Great time of year. It felt like a fall day, low humidity. It had just rained a couple of days before. Man, we had a drenching rain a couple of days before this, the very last part of July, which hopefully that's not going to be our last rain till the end of August, as it has been sometimes. Yeah, we in Arkansas, if you're not familiar with the area where we are, we in Arkansas, when it doesn't rain for 3 or 4 weeks, we get nervous, like, uh-oh, it's a drought. Well, not exactly. Okay, we're approaching the top of the mountain, and we can see glory from here. We have made it this 3/4 of a mile. We don't have to try and turn around and back down. We're great. This is wonderful. About now, Diane notes that on the right-hand side here, just right here at the top, and these big gullies here, but on the right-hand side, this is a beautiful, beautiful campsite right on this kind of, I don't know, shoulder of the mountain. And man, this is just some beautiful area. Okay, well, great. Now we're here. All we need to do is turn right, 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 and go down 49. Right. No. Wrong. You don't go down 49. Well, but do you go the rest of the way on Reform Road? 'Tis the question of the hour. Does it get worse? Is there a tree across the road up here that I can't cut? I've got some saw tools with me. Diana and I got out. We walked up to the very top of that little ridge and looked over, and it looked like it just got worse and worse and worse. And we were like, okay, the GPS was saying there's only 3.4 miles more to go from here. Gee, it looks like the truck is backing up. What? Who knew, right? Yeah. Great place to turn around and back up. By the way, those of you that are still watching and listening, we're 22 minutes or so into this, thank you for your attention. Thank you for your patronage. Thank you for supporting our sponsors. Thank you for letting us do this. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for giving us your feedback. You got any place you want us to go? Yeah, we'll be into that. Let us know. Tippy-tappy in the notes down there and tell us where you'd like for us to be. We'd love to go show you a tour like this in Ultra HD 4K with stabilization. I promise without stabilization this camera would be bouncing all over the place. And with audio narration and with some maps and some clues and hints. We're going to go back down the hill just a little bit, and this is the place here on the left. Look out in the woods there, if you would. Beautiful place. Do this. Great camping spot on Reform Road. You're going to want to have something that'll get up there, though, probably. Yeah, it's a little more steep and rugged than we thought it was. So, I guess I'll let the cat out of the bag. And now I'm like, okay, well, we've been here. Now let's go back down the hill. We can go quicker down the hill. To which Diane, in her wisdom, as women are oftentimes wont to do, Diane noted, you don't go to the woods to get in a hurry. She made a point. She made a very, very good point. So, as if I wanted to go down the hill quicker, it wanted me to go down the hill quicker. It was picking up lots of steam, so I kept my foot on the brake a lot of the time going down this hill. But we've seen several videos about people coming through these areas, and every time I would look at something and go, well, that doesn't look that steep, or that doesn't look that deep, and I realize it is many times. And so the camera, because these are wide angle, it tends to kind of flatten it out. The camera puts 15 pounds on every one of these ruts. Okay, well, maybe not that exactly, but you know what I mean. Now, these are roads that are opened by the Forest Service. Some of them are maintained, like the ones we were on, and they have huge graders that run up and down these roads and regrade them all the time to make sure that you can just take your usual sedan or your SUV and come out there. Now, we're going to go back to, in a minute, we're going to go out to the Flatside Wilderness area, and I would feel comfortable saying that you could probably take a sedan. I wouldn't take anything that rode really low, but you could take a sedan and you could certainly take an SUV to any of the main roads that we have and not have any problem. Crazy people like me and Diane, yeah, y'all may not want to, you may not want to be with us when we do this. I had Diane get out and shoot some video here, and you'll get an idea of what these hills look like, and you'll see there's some steep stuff going on there. It's deeper than it looks, I promise. It gets flattened out by the camera. Now, when your auxiliary photographer forgets to turn off her camera, it can be a moment for levity. That's me. I think that would be funny, and that's why I thought I would just let this roll, and we would visit with Miss Diana while she's coming up to the car. I'm going to cut the audio, but
what'd you think?
You'll hear her, or you may hear her say, "Well, maybe if I turned off my phone, maybe if I quit recording."
It was, but
there's the dash of the Yoda.
Probably help if I would turn it off.
With her charming husband. Mm-hmm. Anyway, we proceed back down the hill at a snail's pace for safety, and truly could not have been a nicer day. Well, Diane actually rolled down the windows, and it felt about like it did with the AC turned on inside. This is probably about 4 o'clock, I would guess. Yeah, probably about that. It's just after 5 o'clock when we shot this. Yeah, here we go. Watch this. Yeah, there's a 30. There's a 25 degree. Yeah. Trying to avoid those big old ruts. And I promise you, and Diana even said this when we were coming back down, it looks so much different coming down than it does going up. Going up, you would say, "Oh, I remember this mud spot, and I remember this." Coming down, it just looks different. I know it sounds silly, but it does. It looks different coming from the other side. Once again, I want to do a shout out to the National Forest Service. These guys have a tough job on a low budget, and they do a great job. Oh, I was going to tell you, as we got up to the Pinnacle Flatside, the Flatside Pinnacle, some of the roads, they may have bigger rocks in them, but just drive around it. It's not, not a big deal. When we went out this last time, they had just graded the road, and I had Diane shoot this for you so you'd get an idea of what we're really looking at. The contour and the depth of some of these, and we don't want to scratch or scrape or whatever. We're so blessed, literally so blessed with each other and with being able to buy a vehicle like this that looks showroom new after 234,000 miles. We went down to Jensen's and got up under it and looked at it, and the mechanic's words were, quote, exceptional. Didn't have a scratch on it. Looked like it probably a mom mobile, never been off-road, if you know what I mean. Back through the mud puddle we go. All that 3/4 of a mile just to turn back around and come back down that 3/4 of a mile. We didn't mind. Just absolutely beautiful. By the way, important note here I should have shared. We travel with a battery jump pack, the battery jumper, the thing, that has an air compressor and a cell phone charger, hint, hint, wink, wink, and probably about half to 3/4 of the way up this mountain, although we're probably We got to be 15 miles off the main road, off the Highway 9. But we got about halfway up to about 3/4 of the way up. We got cell phone signal, and it was a couple of bars of 5G. So in the National Forest, you can get cell phone service. It's not as primitive as you might think, but you really don't want to count on it. You never want to count on it. And as I said, we jokingly prepared ourselves with a $15 estate sale come along that we could have dug ourselves out of something, but not much. And so we are looking at a winch probably for the front of this cute thing. Don't want to get stuck out in the woods, trust me. It's funny when you go up and down these trails and you realize how thinly tethered to society you are. You think, well, if we could get a phone call, who would we call? Yeah, we're talking to you, David Cable, my brother-in-law with a 4-wheel drive. Yeah, we're talking to you, David. Or we would want to and hope you could. There's the road we came in on down below right there. So my suggestion, again, and I mean everything I say, this is absolutely positively the don't do this, don't do it our way kind of thing. By the way, on the left-hand side here, you're going to note that there's a pad landing where they were cutting timber and putting the timber there and leaving it where they could pick it up and haul it out. It's not the prettiest place on town. We would love it to all be beautiful natural area, but every type of terrain and topography that the Forest Service makes has a reason. It has a purpose. By the way, the ranger station is just north of Jesseville, just outside of Jesseville. Not a hop and a skip and a jump. Boy, you could walk there from the shack. The best burgers in town. But I encourage you, they have a Mylar, which is that kind of paper you can't tear. They have a Mylar folded map of the entire 1.7 million acres of national forest. And I strongly encourage you to get you one of those if you're going to do what we're doing. You unfold it once, sometimes it folds back the same way, if you're lucky occasionally, but you want to go ahead and make sure and get you a really, really good map so that you can be prepared for cases like this, because you literally, and I mean this, you never know what's going to happen. And we don't depend on our GPS or our phones very much, but we want to have a paper backup no matter what we do. Beautiful little low water bridge here, which is indicative of the areas around this spot. During the certain times of year, I mean, that bridge will be underwater. There's a reason why it has grooves on it. It is a beautiful, pristine little area, but you want, once again, just be prepared, people. But I tell you what, maybe you need 2 come-alongs and a big chain. Well, here's the time. This is where I make a small confession. Now, my lovely wife is about as good-natured and sweethearted as they come. She has put up with a lot in her life, and luckily, I don't want to push that, because I don't want to be the extra things she has to put up with and manage and navigate and all that. But it's right about here that I leaned over and said, honey, you remember when we were in Benton and you were going to Duck Duck Goose and you were shopping for the kids for some clothes and all that? And she says, yeah, sure. And I said, well, remember when I told us twice, well, we don't want to leave here unless we get gas. Insert chirping noises here. Or the noise of a vinyl album. Yeah, it seems as if Dennis didn't stop and fill us up on gas. And as great as the Toyota is, the FJ is a fantastic, there's a whole group of channels just about this car. Made from 2007 to 2014 in the United States, at least. They were sold here. They were actually sold till 2020 in places like Saudi Arabia and the Middle East and places like that. But as great a little FJ as it is, yeah, mileage is not its forte. Let's say it gets maybe 20 miles to the gallon, maybe. Sits up pretty high, catches a lot of air, doesn't get great gas mileage, and we're about an eighth of a tank, which means typically we probably got 50 to 60 miles, and we're 60 miles from home on gravel roads, probably. Yeah, the way that the road flies. Well, we come up to a major intersection here that Diane has already navigated us to. If we turn left at this decision point, we will go on out to the Flatside Pinnacle into the middle of the National Forest. If we turn right, we go back down this little entry path, back down to Highway 9, and we're headed into Williams Junction. Williams Junction is right at the corner of Highway 9, Highway 10. Those of you that don't know, if you're familiar in Little Rock, when you are crossing the River Bridge in West Little Rock on Interstate 430, you will go over Highway 10 or Cantrell. That's the same Highway 10 that keeps running west, and we're going to catch it here in just a minute. This is a stunning overview that looks up on Lake Sylvia State Park on the left-hand side here. I'm sorry to have sped it up, but it's just pretty trees and huge, huge crystal rocks on the right-hand side. I will make note, the National Forest Service here in Hot Springs and in Perryville will remind you that you cannot, and I repeat this very strongly, you cannot dig crystals in the National Forest. They are the Federal Reserve of minerals and federal property. You can't just go and say, hey, look, I found these big crystals. I want to dig this big thing up and put it in the back of the Yoda and carry it back to... No. You cannot do that. So there's a sign at the Blakely Dam that will remind you that you cannot do that. I strongly encourage you, do not dig crystals and try to carry them off, because there will be a park ranger who will note and find you and say, no, you can't do that. It's a very serious offense, actually. Once again, just going east from that little intersection back there, I think that was 76. That cut over to the west right there, to the north right there, looks out over Lake Maumelle and out over the National Forest. It is fantastic for a look over. We're just off the edge. We're off the north edge of the ridge of this mountain. We're basically driving a mountain that goes east-west, and we're just off of the north side. The better part of the mountain is just to the right from us, and that'll become more apparent as we get closer up here to where we're going. We're about to slow down because we're going to be turning off of this forest road. And by the way, there's some rangers right there and some guys hunting. Everybody's getting ready for the fall season. We're going to drive over some cattle guards right here. When I was a kid, they used to run cattle in the National Forest. Yeah, and that's one of the ways they kept them in. We turn left, we go up to Williams Junction. We turn right, we go back down to Perrin. We just came in a different way. We came in on Lake Winona. Both sides of the road are the Washita National Forest, a beautiful protected area and just gorgeous. By the way, let's define wilderness area. There are no roads, there is no electricity, there's no access unless you're walking. And that's exactly how it happens. You got to be walking or hiking in. But it's 250,000 acres, and there's a lot of beautiful places to go in there and hike. And people just love it, love it, love it. Now, I remembered here, I had a little mistake. I don't know if you know, if you have a four-wheel drive and you pull it in four-wheel drive and you're off on gravel or not on pavement, then the gears and the suspension are designed to have slip when they're on gravel. Well, when you put them back on asphalt, no. They have a locking differential, and you take a sharp corner and you can break things in the differential because one wheel won't spin as fast as the other. Just down here at the bottom of the hill, we're going to catch the Washita National Trail headwaters, or head, I should say. Right there on the right is where the Washita National Trail. We've done another show about this. You want to take a look at that one. That's the Washita National Trail. 176 miles from Pinnacle in West Little Rock to about, I think, 55, 60 miles into Oklahoma, if I'm not mistaken. Gorgeous, gorgeous, beautiful path. Diane and I have hiked a lot of that. Not 176 miles of it, I promise you that. Just to give you an idea of how lush and beautiful this area is, we're national forest on both sides. And I'll remind you, when you pick up a map at the ranger station for the National Forest Service, they will show you very clearly 1.7 million acres is not a monolith. It is not a just solid piece of national forest. It's a patchwork. There are private ownerships, there's homesteads, there's places that were grandfathered in. But on the left-hand side up here in just a minute, there is a grass farm built right down on the Little Maumelle Creek. I thought it was part of the Rockefeller Grass Farm at one time. I'm not sure if that's who owns it or not. But you'll see just around the corner here. The world's longest corner here. Yeah. Maybe it's around the next corner. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Yeah, there's my corner sign. Okay. Anyway, I just think it's interesting that they have a grass farm in conjunction so close to the national forest here. And one of the reasons is because this bottomland is sitting right beside the Little Maumelle River. And this bottomland has a lot of sediment, silt, beautiful, great soil. That's what you need to grow lawns and grow turf. Because every time they bring out a roll or skids or rolls of turf, they actually cut up the soil. Here it is, just here on the left where this bridge is. So there's the sod farm. When you get to the sod farm, you know that you're just about to Williams Junction. Now, this is going to be a two-part show. We're going to show you what not to do, and then we're going to stop here and get gas, which is another not to do. Diana is so gracious. Well, we better go get some gas. I'm like, yes, ma'am. So I was afraid it was going to put us late getting to the Flatside Wilderness area. But from the video you saw, we managed, didn't we? Here's the Williams Junction. It was an old-time country store. They added a big new grass pumps here. I think sometimes they're open on Sundays, sometimes they're not. We're going to spin around here in just a minute and show you the rest of it. But thanks for joining us today. For you that have stayed with us for 43 minutes, thank you. Thank you so very much. I wanted to give you an idea of and that's the corner of 9 and 10 right there, major intersection. Lots of traffic, lots of access, and lots of people come here and buy bait. 501-617-9747. Whether you're buying, selling, or just considering. Oh, we don't need a realtor yet. Yes, you do. Don't delay. Call Janae. 501-617-9747.
Hot Springs Village Venues is brought to you by KVRE at 92.9 and streaming worldwide on iHeartRadio. KVRE is your family-owned local hometown radio station, so be sure and tune in for live local programming, news, sports, and information every day at 92.9. HSV Radio. HSV Radio is heard every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. or streaming on any of the major platforms. Hot Springs Village Radio is an eclectic mix of music, motivation, great music history, and Saturday morning fun. Join us every Saturday morning at 9 a.m., 92.9. And brought to you by the Hot Springs Village Voice, Hot Springs Village only newspaper, also serving all of Saline and Garland County. Your local newspaper for local events. No one else has more local news than the Hot Springs Village Voice about the Hot Springs Village area. Sign up today at hsvvoice.com or call 501-623-6397. Again, that's 501-623-6397. Located at 3576 North Highway 7 in Hot Springs Village, Arkansas, just in front of Walmart. Brought to you by Gotta Go Vacations. www.gottagovacations.com. Troy Woods and Patrick Cunningham at 501-204-4805 can help you with any of your travel needs. Patrick and Troy have been airline stewards for decades, and their experience and their travel can serve you well. GottaGoVacations.com, again, that's GottaGoVacations.com, can help you book the perfect tour for you, whether it's a riverboat cruise up the Mississippi or the Rhine. These guys are who you need to call. 501-204-4805. Troy or Patrick, 501-204-4805. GottaGoVacations.com. D&D Village Properties. Hot Springs Village only short-term rental with over 2,100 five-star reviews. All properties are lakefront. They include complimentary kayaks, hot tub, pet-friendly, and a stunning view of the lake. Visit DD Village Prop today for your vacation getaway.